right, Shia LaBeouf. Let's get motivated. Here we go. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Ah, yeah. Thanks, Shia LaBeouf. I'm totally motivated now. I need to get, like, his leans down and, like, even his hand motions where sometimes he's like this and then other times he's like a fist. I mean, I got some of it down. Like, I don't know what he's doing here, but... Anyways, we're motivated. Let's string. Let's drum. Let's close that. All right. I'm going to be working on diddle strength and three-stroke strength. Oops. But before I do that, I'm going to do short, short, long, which has 2, 3, 4, and 5 notes in a row. So we're going to warm up with that, stretch and massage, and then we'll get into this. All the exercises that I'll actually be using are linked up here, top of the screen, and it's going to be in the technique section. So specifically going to use the double beat variations, and we're going to start off with short, short, long. I don't think you have diddle flow yet. That one I think will come out later, so stay tuned for that. But we're going to start with this one. Then we're going to work on some diddle strength. I'll show you how to use this and like how it can be helpful to improve your rolls. And then three-stroke strength to kind of like show you a variant of this exercise for threes. So this one is a great way to work on your 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. So it goes on the right, on the left, on the right. And then it does the opposite of that for the second time through. And the third rep does it with double stops. Now, double stops are important because this makes it so you can actually hear how your hands sound together. Because if you play them in isolation all the time, then you're not going to actually be able to really verify, does everything sound the same in terms of like the volume and are the heights the same, etc. Because if you're only doing one at a time, you're just kind of like having to go off of your memory. If you do it as a double stop, you can hear if it sounds like this, like a flam, or if you get this popping sound, or if you have it playing at the same time, but one hand is lower and higher than the other, etc. So the double stops are very helpful for this, which is why I've got it as the music that is on the screen. All right, so we're going to do it at 120. As with all the play-alongs, just go into the timestamp and then clicky click, and then it'll count you off. If it ends with a 0 or a 5, it'll give you this little moment to kind of get yourself set up. Turn up the volume. First time I played, and I am not warmed up for that. All right, cool. Let's stretch and massage. I can't speak. Stretch and massage now. We got the blood flowing. Now we can actually relax our hands. So pull your hands like that. Oh, yeah. 10 out of 10 would stretch again. It feels good. It's a weird stretch, but it feels great. Just going to hold it for a bit. Hopefully, Twitch and YouTube doesn't crash on this. I was like, wow, don't have a lot of people chatting today on YouTube. Normally we get a couple people for the drumming ones. It's like, okay, but people are on Instagram, so we're chatting, we're good. But for whatever reason, it was like 30 seconds on Twitch, and then it just cut off. It had like 2 of those kind of videos, and then on YouTube it was like 1 minute and 10 seconds, and then it was like, nope, we're done. Weird. Okay, so first stretch is just a good one for in general. This one is if you do traditional, you rotate both extremes. Now I'm going to stretch the underside of the tendon. So the lower you go, the deeper the stretch. It's a great one. It feels good. Highly recommend. Now we're going to do the top side of the forearm. The higher you go, the deeper the stretch. So for those of you on vertical, I'm just doing this. The first one was this one. You just go lower. So I realized you couldn't see it on vertical format. Okay. Now we're going to stretch thumb to thumb. Loosen up the fingers. Start with the big muscles, go to the smaller. The big bones go to the smaller bones. We're stretching our bones here. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Not that kind, though. Don't trust my medical advice. Ooh. Oh, ASMR. There you go. Enjoy. Another one? No? Okay, that's fine. All right, now I'm going to massage. So we're going to do thumb on top. Working our way downtown. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Don't DMCA strike me, please. Oof, man, my left is tight. Next arm. Switch to the tattooed forearm. I'm not going to get my next tattoo until I get a play button on YouTube. I'm only 6% of the way there. It's going to be well. Stay tuned. Who knows? Maybe the Subnautica video that releases today will get me a bajillion subs. That'll come out in a little bit, actually. Less than an hour. Okay. I'm going to massage the palm with the thumb, and then the fingers massaging the back side of the hand. Just working my way around. Getting nice and relaxed. I was like, why is that song stuck in my head? And I was like, oh yeah, we put on Venga Boys when we were cooking the other night. They got some interesting remixes. Some of them were like, what the? It was good. All right, we're going to massage base to tip of each one of the fingers, and then we're going to work on the double strokes, 2s. So normally I play through short, short, long again, but we'll just skip it. Have you ever experienced both burnout, both hand cramps? Yeah. So it's important to take care of your hands. So one with like this stretch and massage routine that I do every single time. I always made the drum lines that I taught do it as well. Another thing you can do to help your hands to recover and arms, like forearms, is like to have your arms up in the air. So like when you're going to sleep or something, if you lay on your back and put your arms straight out, you can like hold like a book or something, and do that for like 10, 15 minutes. or just hold them up in the air in public. So people will look at you and be like, what? And you'll be like, goal! Just kidding. So that helps with getting rid of some inflammation. Icing can be helpful as well, like ice your forearms to, again, help with the inflammation. Stretch and massage routine is good, but also taking breaks. I am not good at that, to be completely candid with y'all. I am, like, the other morning I woke up, was a Sunday morning, and I was like working on edits, and I was like, oh, I'll just do this little thing. Oh, I'll just do this little thing. And then like 3 hours went by, and I was like, I have not like moved at all from my computer for 3 hours, and I like just woke up. So taking breaks is good. Try and set like a timer. I have like a timer on my watch that I'll set for 50 minutes, 50. I'll work for 50 minutes, and then I'll take a 10-minute break where I'll walk on the treadmill and play like a video game. Because I have the treadmill so that there's the PlayStation's hooked up to a TV right in front of it, so I can just walk. So I'm not just sitting there the whole time. But taking breaks with your drumming, that's good. Take a 10-minute break every hour. Just give your hands a little break, rest. Also, just practice slow, and then that just allows you to refine your technique instead of just like chopping out all the time. And I say that as somebody who's using like the heavy Hardeman hammer chop out sticks. Playing slow is a great way to be able to work on improving without burning your hands out, if that makes sense. So that's like a good compromise for you if your hands are ever burned out. But then there's also the mental side of burnout where you're just like, I don't really want to play. So what I focus on when I am mentally burned out from drumming is like playing fun stuff. So some streams I come on here, I'm like, I'm just going to chop out this morning, and I'll do that for like an hour just to have fun, as opposed to just sitting there and grinding all the time. I'm all for the grind, which is why I've got like multiple merch shirts that say like I'm here for the XP and grinding for XP, etc. But sometimes you got to take a break mentally, and that's okay. Breaks are okay. Why do I tape my sticks if I don't play on real drums with rims? So I like the weight. So even though these are chop out sticks, so they're heavier, I like the weight of it, and I also like the feel of it. It just is what I'm used to be honest, with the several years that I marched, snare and whatnot. So, but I also was still teaching drumline. So I was using like these sticks and whatnot. So I didn't want to break them on the rims. Good question though. It's not random. All right, cool. Let's do diddle strength. And we're not going to do it at 20. Let's start it at 80. Did it work? I think so. It's supposed to jump up. Boop. It didn't. Why not? So I got a couple of lessons with 4-time world champion snare soloist Jeff Queen. And one of the exercises that he showed me to work on my diddles is the exercise that you see on the screen called diddle strength. This particular play along goes from 20 up to 160 beats a minute. But what you're doing is playing everything at the same height, emphasizing the first note of the diddle with about a 3-inch difference between the accent and the tap, emphasizing the second note of the diddle, again with just about a 3-inch difference between the accents and the taps, and then you do it on both hands so you can hear them together. The popping sound is a good thing. You don't want to hear flams. So when you're doing this, right, both, left, both, you want to hear the pops on the both. You want to make sure that the heights are the same and the velocity is the same from the starting position into the head. You want it to go at the same speed. So you don't want one hand to move faster while the other hand moves slower, etc. Okay, so this is a great exercise for working on your diddles to make sure you don't have rolls that sound like the second note being much quieter than the first note. If you're like me, where you will like take things to an extreme, I actually made it so that my rolls sounded like the second note was louder than the first. So I was focusing so much on that, so don't overcorrect. But that's another way that you can work on it, is just practicing rolls instead of emphasizing the first note. Emphasize the second. That way you can have even rolls. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go to 85. Let's go by fives on this one, and we'll see how the diddle sound until we get to where it sounds bleh, and then we'll work on threes, which is like the same idea, except applying it to 3 strokes instead of just the 2 strokes. Again, just a slight emphasis on the accents. Oops, talking scream yet. These are not actual accents and taps. It says it in the first few seconds of the video, as well as in the description. Okay, let's do this at 90. And this time I won't talk, so hopefully, it sounds better. I'm getting a lot better at being able to talk while drumming, but it is not an easy skill. It's like when I first started teaching drumline and I had to play the tenors backwards. Because, like, you walk up to them and be like, here's how the part's supposed to go. You have to learn it off the left and reversed. Whoops. Another way I could have written this out is as tenuto markings, where it's like got the little dash over it, but I didn't. Where have I marched? I marched academy for 5 years, and then I got into a car accident my 5th year, so I didn't get to march years 6 and 7. I was the center snare, and then I marched for Arizona State for 2 years because I was forced to do that for my undergrad. And then I marched in high school. I did 2 years on snare, and then before that, 2 years in the pit. And I have a tattoo of the academy on my arm. That was a long time ago. Thanks. It happens. Tell you a story about that. I mean, 5 out of 7 years is still a long time in drum corps. But I have a tattoo on my arm that is a reminder for myself that when it starts to rain, learn how to play in the rain. So turning the umbrella upside down and playing inside of the rain. So the fact that I got into those car accidents obviously was a bummer. Or car accident, single one. Some dude ran a red light, and I ran straight into him, T-boned him, flipped him upside down. My car caught on fire. It was a wild experience while I was in it. And the knee injury made it so obviously I couldn't march very well. And then I couldn't march after that season because it was just too banged up. But it taught me that at any moment my playing could go away, so I focused on teaching. So all 3 of my degrees are in music education. And so I focused on that. And I also had a professor who had some injuries where he couldn't play, but he was an amazing educator. So I learned a lot from him. So opened up some doors to focus on music education and then eventually the research side of things and all that jazz. And then that opened up the doors to computer science education. I've been teaching that for the last decade, even though I have a doctorate in music education. So, no complaints, but wouldn't wish it on anyone. Again, don't overemphasize the difference between the accents and the taps. As it says at the very beginning, practice with accents 3 inches higher than taps-ish. It's more of an emphasis. This will help with diddles. If you do this on like a softer surface, like on a pillow too, then whoo-wee. That'll work your chops even more than just these heavy sticks. Oops. I started playing short long. Hmm. 110. Oh, yeah. Too far. Like, where's 10? I can number sometimes. Not all the time. My shoulders are tight. I gotta read the music. Yeah, so the accents should be felt more so than heard when working on this. Like, you should feel the emphasis in your hand. You're just trying to make it so that you can control it, so you can even out your double strokes. Not necessarily play with like a 12-inch accent and a 3-inch tap or anything like that. That's not the point of this exercise. Let's do it at 120, and then I'll switch over to the 3-stroke version of this. Etc. Wow, that stick's got a mind of its own. We see it rolling. 120. I'm gonna get so many DMCA strikes. Just kidding. Minnie left a little dog hair on my pad. She must have been practicing earlier. That's my dog. That's why I said it was dog hair. Cool. That's diddle strength. It's a good one. 10 out of 10 would strengthen my diddles again. I recommend slowing that down, going one click at a time, and doing that. This was just kind of data collection period for me to see, what should I work on? The diddles or the 3 strokes? So that's what I'm working on today. Just doing that. Okay, so this one I just set it up so that it's right, left, both, because otherwise it'd be like super, super long. So, same idea here. Good morning, Zeke. We've got ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But again, these accents and taps are like a 3-ish inch difference. So you emphasize the first partial. You emphasize the third partial of the 3-stroke, and then you emphasize the second partial of the 3-stroke in the last one. So we're going to go right, left, and then both on the last line, okay? Well, that's the pattern. Let's go to 60. 60. Go. YouTube's supposed to snap back up to the top. Fine, don't do it. See if I care. Oh, this is slow. Woo! Perfect. Again, just emphasize, don't accent and tap it. Third partial, second, the left. That's a good sound. We like the pops. Like Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop. 65. We'll see if we can play it up to 120. I don't know. My left hand is tight today. Wow, so fast. All right, 70. The pops were good. So my hands are even. The speed is good. Heights are okay. All right, 70. Just emphasize the accents, not a full accent. Again, if I were actually working this up, I'd go one click at a time. We're just collecting data today. Collecting some data. +7 energy. Okay, so again, this exercise was also learned from a couple of lessons that I got with 4-time world champion snare soloist Jeff Queen, also snare soloist in Blast. This is the 3-stroke version of what I just showed you. So it has all 3 notes emphasized, then the first note, and then actually the last partial, and then the second partial, Okay, so you're not having a huge difference in the accents and taps on this. You're just trying to make it so you can emphasize it so you have a nice even 3 instead of playing 3 strokes like, because you can't control it to all be the same, etc. Whenever you're thinking of 3 strokes, another way to think of it is almost like it's crescendoing, like the way that you have to like move your hands, but it'll give you an even sound. So you're thinking like that with just making it smooth. Another tip. Another one. All right. 80. Ah, ah, ah. Nice. 85. I was like, what? Tempo? Gotta select the right one. Gosh. You can do it, Jared. Do it. Thanks, Shia. We'll do it. Yeah, so the last measure of each line, the rhythms got a little bit off for that second partial. So interesting. We'll see if that continues or if that was a fluke. Focus on the ones that are consistent errors, not just the ones that happened one time. Especially if you're an instructor, maybe somebody had a brain fart. If they play it the same way terribly 10 times in a row, probably consistent error. If it was one off, probably don't need to rep it for an hour. Yeah, so the note before the accents in the last measure is the interesting one. That one I need to work on more. Not today, though. Not today. Data collection day. Focus, Jared. Okay, I will. Wow, triple digits. Woo-wee. Faster than anyone's ever played a 3-stroke, ever. It's going to put me in the Guinness Book of World Records. I'll be like EMC Productions. Why, hello, Toybot. I've been good. How about yourself? All right, let's try it at 105. We're getting to a point where my technique is getting inconsistent. So I'll probably refine this on Saturday. Thursday will be a tenor stream, and Wednesday, Friday will be drum kit. Again, these aren't actually accents. If you read the beginning, play around 3 inches higher than the taps. That's the goal. That's the goal. Don't overemphasize this. You will miss the point of this particular exercise. Don't. Just want to be able to control each of the 3 strokes so they're even. Cool. It's not going to sound great, but we're going to try up to 120. So I'll do 115. Then we'll try 120. It's going to be inconsistent based on how my hands are feeling and playing today. And that's okay. Collecting data. Woo! Okay, we're gonna try it. Will it sound good? Probably not. This can go all the way up to 160. If you can play it at 160, share me a video. I'd love to see it. He's like snare drummers. Yeah, so we'll work on that more on Saturday. This is the one we need to do. We'll slow it down. So again, we warmed up with short, long. Then we did diddle strength. Great way to work on your 2s, your diddles. And then for 3s, I highly recommend this exercise. Both of these were taught to me by Jeff Queen, who kind of knows what he's talking about. If you don't believe me, he won INE twice, and he won PASIC snare solo competition twice. And then he was a snare soloist for Blast. So, 4-time world champion snare drummer. Probably knows what he's talking about a wee bit. Let's chop out. Let's play something fun. And then I need to get set up so we can do some cyberpunk. I keep wanting to call it Cybernautica because the Subnautica video highlights are coming out here shortly. Probably in like 15 minutes. Something like that. And I keep calling it Cybernautica. It's not. What do I want to play? I don't want to. Let's do this one. I haven't played this one in a while. Blue Devil's 99 Shopping Spree. Sure, we'll try it at 160, but first we're going to start at 140. Timestamps. Jump to a BPM. This one goes as slow as 40 beats a minute or as fast as 200. Again, if you can play it at 200, share a video. I'd love to see it. Let's jump up by 10. No. Good puppy. All right. 150. My left hand, I need to massage it more later today. It's just tight. Maybe I'm from the workout. Who knows? Let's try it. Is it gonna go good? On today's episode of Hit Things Fast, Jared attempts Blue Devils 99 shopping spree at 160. Let's see how it goes. Come on, YouTube. Do it. Yes, you can. Gotta motivate YouTube with some Shia LaBeouf motivation every now and then. You can do it. Keep spinning. Never back down, never wet. Never get Cox internet. It's just still going. Okay, fine. I'm gonna refresh you. Do you need me to do that? Do you need me to do that? Refresh. Look at you. You know how to play 150. That's great. So proud of you. YouTube, you're doing good. Atta girl. Alright. Here we go. Let's try 160. Look, it's actually moving. Yay! Ew. Well, that wasn't the breaking point. My stick just got under my stick at the very beginning, so it wasn't like I chopped out. Let's lower the heights and let's crash and burn at 170. Go. As long as YouTube works. Oh, it's working. So proud of you. Perfect. Flawless. All right. You can find that play along and literally over 1,000 more, all free, either on my YouTube. If you want to stay there, just go to the home tab where it's neatly organized. Otherwise, link at the top of the screen. Got a bunch of chop stuff, limb independent stuff, bunch of charts. There's like 30 more charts coming out through July, I think. So stay tuned for more of those. There's like 800 plus grid variations. There's a bunch of tips. I'm actually working on compiling all these drumming shorts into many videos. There's like 7 hours worth of shorts in here, and unfortunately you can't see all of them, which is why I'm going to do this. So there's 813 videos, but it stops right here, which is not 813 videos, I can tell you that much. So I'll compile them into a bunch of tips, so that way you can actually still see them, and I'll put them here under the lessons area. And then there's a bunch of technique stuff and over 100 and some odd, 140 marching bass things to work on. If you want to play with the heavy sticks I'm using, just go to the books and gear I recommend for percussionists. When you click on that, you can click on sticks, and then those, wow, just exercise the demon. Those are chop building sticks that I'm using whenever I'm streaming. The Hardeman hammers, highly recommend them. And then here's the pad I'm using with this pad on top, or underneath it rather, and then this pad underneath that. Pad Inception. So if you want those, that's where you can find them. These are affiliate links, so it does help me out if you use it. So thank you for the people who have already used these, etc. Anyways, I'm going to set up for Cyberpunk also known as Cybernautica. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for the Subnautica video going to come out here shortly. But I appreciate everybody stopping by. I appreciate the questions, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.